Guys, Hare Krishna. Jai Guru Krishna. Yeah. इतना प्राप्ति हो इतना प्राप्ति हो Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Haribo Shri Advaita Gada Shri Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare 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 Krishna. I'm not down for that matter. You can see what is so he looked at an harmonium. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, the name is that's like Krishna. Yeah. Put it here. Put it here. Here. For time being, my probably yeah. Then he can just give them after Kirtan will switch to that one. It's an idea. Father, after, oh no, the lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way to retain a pain to pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet, great awe and reverence. By his grace, once we cross the ocean, the joy of suffering and the pain and mercy of Christian men. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the Lord and anything from his closest mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opened my darkened eyes, filled my heart, and transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him expressed strength emanates, by him entering the Vedic scripture, singing his character, our spiritual master of ocean and mercy, friend of the poor, Lord and master of devotees. O Master, please be merciful to us. Please give us the shade of your Lord's feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Like we take shelter of your Lord's feet. Be the Prabhupada, please. Yeah, God. Jai Hello. Jabiha. Just a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I just Hawaii style. That is really good. Then hi. Oh. Sorry, this is the middle part of the program. I was here from one of our team, but then I had some conference calls I had to attend. So if you attend one conference call, then you have to respond to one email, and you have to see what urgent message came. Sorry. Oh, that's so many. Yeah. I obviously like Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Islam BBT Founder Acharya Ki Jai. Krishna Gauranga Raj Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the Son of God. All glories to the Son of God. All glories to the Son of God. All glories, Shri Shri Guru Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So can we? Yes. Just maybe some water. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 2, titled Remembrance of Lord Krishna, text number 16. So it's on the board here, yeah? Good. Okay. Manke Dayati Atada Jasa Jan, excuse me, let me get the tune.
Mamkeda Yatyatad Ajasya Janma Idambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Raje Chavasori Bayad Vivaspayam Purad Vyavastid Yad Ananta Viryaha Mam Kedayati Atadashyata Janma Vidambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Raje Chavasori Bayad Vivaspayam Purad Vyavastid Yad Ananta Viryaha Mamkedayat Yetat Ajasya Janma Vidhambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Raje Chavasori Bayad Vivaspayam Purad Vyavastid Yad Ananta Viryaha Kedayat Yetat Ajasya Janma Vidambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Raje Chavasori Bayad Vivaspayam Purad Vyavastid Yad Ananta Viryaha
Mamkediyate dad ajasya janma Vidambanam yad vasudeva gehe Pratyekhe vasui bhayati vasvayam Radhyamat siddhyat ananta virya
Mamkeda Ita Udashya Janma Vidambanam Yadvasudeva Gehe Vasu Vari Vayadi Vaswayam Devatishi Yadananda Viraha Mam Kedayat Etat Ajasya Janma Vidambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Vidambanam Yad Vasudeva Gehe Pradesh Vayad Vaswayam Pradesh Vayad Purāvati Yad Ananta Viryam Purāvati Yad Ananta Viryam
Word means Mam to me. Kedayati gives me distress. Etat this Ajasya of the unborn. Janma birth. Vidambanam bewilderment. Yat that. Vasudeva Gehe in the home of Vasudeva. Raje in Vrindavan. Cha also. Vasaha in habitation. Hari enemy. Mayat because of fear. Eva as if. Swayam himself. Purat from Mathura Puri. Yavad sit led. Yat one who is. Anantaviryaha unlimitedly powerful. Translation. When I think of Lord Krishna, how he was born in the prison house of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraj and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. Please repeat. When I think of Lord Krishna,
And I think of Lord Krishna,
how he was born in the prison house
how he was
of Vasudeva, although he is unborn, how he went away from his father's protection to Vraj and lived there incognito out of fear of the enemy, and how, although unlimitedly powerful, he fled from Mathura in fear. All these bewildering incidents give me distress. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Because Lord Shri Krishna is the original person from whom everything and everyone has emanated, Aham Sarvasha Prabhava Bhagavad Gita Shalmadhi Yasha Yakaha 112 VS. What is that? Vedanta Sutra. Usually they spell it out. I don't remember other words to say that. Nothing can be equal to or greater than him. The Lord is supremely perfect, and whenever he enacts his transcendental pastimes as a son, a rival, or an object of enmity, he plays the part so perfectly that even pure devotees like Uddhava are bewildered. For example, Uddhava knew perfectly well that Lord Shri Krishna is eternally existent and can neither die nor disappear for good. Yet he lamented for Lord Krishna. All these events are perfect arrangements to give perfection to his supreme glories. It is for enjoyment's sake. When a father plays with his little son and the father lies down on the floor as if defeated by the son, it is just to give the little son pleasure and nothing more. Because the Lord is all powerful, it is possible for him to adjust opposites such as birth and no birth, power and defeat, fear and fearlessness. A pure devotee knows very well how it is possible for the Lord to adjust opposite things. But he laments for the non-devotees who, not knowing the supreme glories of the Lord, think of him as imaginary, simply because there are so many apparently contradictory statements in the scripture. Apparently contradictory statements in the scriptures. Actually, there's nothing contradictory. Everything is possible when we understand the Lord as the Lord and not as one of us with all our imperfection. Om Ganatamiyan Nishanjanam Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitamina Tasmani Shri Gurve Maha Shri Titanimanobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamriyam Tadati Swapanandikam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Jai. Just when we chant the Lord's holy name, the genies appear. Most appropriate. Jai Shri Srimati Gaura Nataraj Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan. So First, it's nice to be back here in St. Louis Yatra. I haven't had a temple tour yet because I just came yesterday. I went and saw the new property. Everybody seen the new property? Everybody see? Or will you see? Not yet. No? Dr. C. Okay. Not everybody yet. Is there a way you can fix it so I don't have to look at my own material body in front of me?
I can save the screen.
Can you you can minimize me and let me look at the others? And I would ask, there's only a few devotees watching, but if it's possible,
There's
if they can
people
put
online.
their cameras on, some of you may be getting ready for the work or taking your shot or something.
I would like
So
to
in
have
that
this
case, you
words
can-
here on the screen so that they will.
Okay, but you can't, I want to see everybody out there. There's only a few, but it'd be nice to see that, at least see their name. Yeah, Ashok is there. I can see Ashok. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Welcome to St. Louis. Sorry, I couldn't make it to the program last night.
That's okay.
Yes.
Rachna is there. Hare Krishna, Rachna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Tanvat Pranam. Nice to see you.
So he's just fixing the screen there. Gallery. Gallery is good. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better. Thank you. Also, Venu Madhurya Das Prabhu is there. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Tanvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna. We just fixed the screen because they had me blown up all big. That's too boring.
All looks nice.
Yeah. Okay, so most of them we don't even need it there, but at least for here I wanted to see. So here in this verse, okay, so back to what I was saying. Very nice to be back here. I'm looking forward to taking a tour of this building. I know there's been some improvements. Things are looking neater outside. I noticed that when we came in this morning, it's still dark. And nice to see the deities taken care of nicely. They're very happy deities. Okay. They look a little chubby here. They're pleased with the service they're getting. And we did a winter program last night. It was about maybe 15, 20 devotees there. And then yesterday I went and saw the new property, which is very inspiring. I think it's a lot of opportunities there for preaching, and devotees were able to get a very reasonable price. It's going to take some work for sure, and some effort, and some Lakshmi. In addition to the funds that were there to just purchase the property, now we have to fix and make it a suitable place for the Lord and for the devotees. But I think it'd be a wonderful opportunity. So I'm going back today. I didn't get to see the inside of the building today. Oh, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow I'll go back and see the inside of the building. So looking forward to that. So a lot nice to see things happening, expanding in Prabhupada's St. Louis temple. This is one of the, I don't know, what year actually was this temple started, Chakra?
69.
It's one of the first. I mean, it wasn't the first five, but it was one of
We
the,
had a 50-year reunion
yeah,
last
last year was. Okay, so 50 years from last year, so that was 2024, so 74, maybe the first time. Was this building the first temple, or there was another place? I can't remember.
blocks away.
Just 2 blocks, and then we moved here.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So 50 years, and we know there's a big event coming up. 2026 is the 60th anniversary of ISKCON. And in 2027 is the 50th anniversary of the departure of Srila Prabhupada. So both those events will be commemorated globally beginning next year. And then sometime right around then, the TOVP is going to be opening too. I don't know if they've actually have a final date of that, but there's a lot of exciting things happening. It's nice to see temples coming up and more people being able to take advantage of Krishna consciousness. And I was speaking with our host name last night was Muthu Prabhu, who has a business and he has places in a few different states. And I was asking him, because I live in Washington and the political situation is very much in the top of people's minds. I was asking, how is it affecting things out here? And he was saying, well, for one thing, they can't get employees because, no more immigrants. They're pushing, throwing people out of the country. So I was asking him, so when's it going to start having an effect upon people? Because up till now, everybody's like, well, there's no big deal. But it will have an effect, and it's coming. And it won't be a happy effect at some point. And that's really, we should see that as Vaishnavas, it's a chance for us to preach, really to speak to people, because whatever the political situation may be, up or down, whatever the economic situation may be, up or down, we know ultimately, even when it's up, it's down. And even when it's down, it can be spiritually up, because there's always an opportunity to ask the really important questions in life. Why am I here in the first place? Your political party may win or lose. The tax structure may be beneficial for you or hurtful for you. Either way, you're going to die. Either way, we're only here temporarily. So the opportunity when people are in, when there is the stressful conditions, we know that's one of the 4 reasons people require, right? When there's suffering, fortunately, we wish there wouldn't need to be suffering, but there is. And when there is suffering, people inquire more. So as the situation in the country gets a little more, and the world gets a little more difficult, when there's phases of time when things are more difficult, it's an opportunity to help people understand Krishna. So all connected to the fact that here we're getting increased facility to do so. We know, like in this temple room, it's got lots of opportunity for outreach in the future, and it's too small for the community we have. So now, by the hard work of devotees to have a second place, so we can expand our programs and be very, very helpful here. And there's a lot of people. Anybody know how many people actually live in the whole metropolitan St. Louis region? I heard it's like 300,000 in the city proper. Anybody know? You can look it up.
3 million.
It's 1.5 million or so.
It's 3 million, Prabhu.
Either way, there's a lot of people, and we need to fit more than in the temple. So that'll be the opportunity that's there. So it's nice to see the progress. So thank you all for your hard work and devotion and sacrifices and going through that. When devotees
2.79 million.
2.79, okay, not surprising. So close to 3. Okay, good. So we need here we can fit how many? 150 maybe packed in here?
Maximum 150.
Maximum. So the new place packed in there, it's like 10,000, inside and outside.
This
Yeah.
2,000 people.
Yeah. Good opportunity. Good opportunity. A lot of temples around the country. There's a new temple coming up in Naperville, Washington, D.C. just opened a beautiful temple. Baltimore 5 years ago, new temple. Columbus is working on a new temple. I think I mentioned Tobacco, Persimmon is building a new temple. Lots of new temples, new facilities. And of course, we're going out and we're distributing Prabhupada's books. We're going out Harinam, inviting people to come. So where do they come? We have to make sure we provide facilities for them to come. And we also understand it's not just about providing facilities for people to come, but it's about how do we engage them when they come? What services are there? What opportunity for hearing? You were telling me yesterday, right, Ramacharya, that it's some of the Hindu temples, the other Hindu temples not immediately affiliated with ISKCON. Many people are coming, and at least in this case, you said one of the leaders there was telling people, you can come here, but if you want to know the philosophy, you need to go to ISKCON.
Many people have been like that.
Yeah, so we have a service to fulfill. Prabhupada was there to give people explanation. I know, like in the Tirupati temple, famous temple, South India, ISKCON devotees that have a very good relationship with the leaders of the community. And last time I was there, they have 4 different places where we have tables on the Tirupati. One of the temples down below, and then I think 3 spots up above the mountain. And they very much want devotees to distribute literature, because they said pilgrims are coming, they want darshan, they know they should do something pious, but they don't know why. And they don't really understand the philosophy behind even Bhagavad Gita. They don't understand it. So please, you come and distribute your books so people can understand why we're maintaining this temple and why we're encouraging people to practice spiritual life. So it's a nice partnership. So back to today's verse. So we have till what time? 8:30? Okay. So here, Uddhava is actually replying to the inquiries of Vidura. And I think to set the scene, I want to reread the first few verses. Sukadeva Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhava was asked by Vidura to speak on the messages of the dearest Lord Krishna, Uddhava was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety and remembrance of the Lord. He was one who, even in his childhood, speaking of Uddhava, at the age of 5 years, was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. So that's a nice example. 5-year-old that doesn't want to eat because they're so absorbed in Krishna. Uddhava thus served the Lord continually from childhood, and in his old age, that attitude of service never slackened. So we should make sure as we get older, our attitudes of service don't slacken. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, he at once remembered all about him. For a moment, he remained dead silent, and his body did not move. Again, Uddhava speaking about. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet and devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. It was so observed by Vidura that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidura could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. The great devotee Uddhava soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane. His meditation is, remember, Krishna goes back to an external awareness. And wiping his eyes, he awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidura in a pleasing mood. So that's what's leading up to this. So Vidura is asking him questions about the Lord, and Uddhava just goes deeply into this meditation of relationship with Krishna, manifests all these different types of ecstatic symptoms. Vidura is noticing he's in such deep ecstasy, and then he starts remembering the Lord, or he starts explaining about the Lord's different pastimes. So this whole chapter remembers the Lord Krishna. I looked ahead a little bit. So it's summarizing many of the Lord's pastimes in a whole series of verses. And then at the end, and I think there's one more chapter, he continues that. And then he tells Vidura, actually, you should go to Maitreya. You should go learn from him, which is interesting how that's coming up soon. So after this very lengthy but summarization of Lord Krishna's pastimes, he says, if you want more, you go to Maitreya, because he was there with me at the end of the Lord's Leela, and actually he's qualified to speak to you. So today's verse, there's several points that could be made. A couple come to mind, which we'll discuss a little bit. One, of course, is that Vidura, who's Vidura? We read about Uddhava. Who's Vidura? And we should remember that Vidura is no ordinary person. Vidura himself is a very, very great devotee. He's the uncle of the Pandavas. In many ways, he was the savior of the Pandavas. He's the one when they were sent away to be killed by Duryodhana in the house of black. He spoke to Yudhisthira in special dialect that only could they understand. And even then, he kind of spoke his words in a mysterious way to give Yudhisthira a hint. Be careful, they're going to try to kill you. This house is very dangerous. And he arranged for boatmen when they escaped from the house of black, when it was set on fire and they escaped. Vidura sent the man to dig the tunnel. Vidura sent the boatman to take them across the river. And if I remember correctly, the boatman says, I've been waiting so many nights. Vidura told me I should be here, but they didn't tell me what night you're going to be here. So he's a very important devotee. He saw Krishna many, many times. He himself is very exalted. And yet, he's engaged in this discussion with Uddhava because he wants to know more about Krishna. He's asking him, please tell me about Krishna. So this is Vidura. This is not just an ignorant conditioned soul, who is very intelligently, finally inquiring about Krishna. This is a very, very great and advanced devotee of the Lord, saying, please, Uddhava, you have such intimate connection with Krishna, you please tell me more. So there's a message there to all of us, and we should always one way of listening to the Shastras, we should think, what are the principles behind this? What's the instruction? What does it mean for me? You know, in one sense, it's like it's Leela. We just hear about the Leela. That in itself is wonderful, and inspiring, and purifying. But then also this intellectual question, what does it mean for me? And I think one important answer is that we should never think that now I know enough. I don't need to hear more about Krishna. Or now I've learned so much that I don't need to learn more about Krishna. Because we always need to learn more. And if we know that if we become proud of whatever little bit of learning we have, if we become arrogant, that shuts down our ability to hear more. And it's displeasing to the Lord also. Prabhupada is pointing out in the purport that he's unlimited. And as we know, we're very, very small. Prabhupada one time said that actually there's no big devotees in my movement. There's only little devotees. So, you know, we may be like, maybe we're the, quote, the biggest donor Janmashtami in the St. Louis temple, which is one of 100 temples in North America, which is one of 1,100 ISKCON projects or so around the world, which is one planet out of many planets, right? So comparatively speaking, our position is very small. We may feel, well, I dressed Sri Gaur Nataraj today for Krishna Balaram, so I'm very important, a very special person. But I'm one of the many pujaris who comes to dresses the deities in St. Louis, and there's many deities in other cities just a few hundred miles away. What are they offering to Krishna? How many years have they been offering to Krishna? And that's just, again, in this country, compared to so many other places. So we should realize that our position is actually, it's very, very small. And if we remember that, then we'll always be anxious to learn more about Krishna. And that desire, that lolium is described, that greed to hear more about Krishna, to service, more and more service for Krishna, more and more enthusiasm to please him, that attracts Krishna. That mood attracts Krishna. And if we are not careful, we can start taking things for granted. Oh, last year I gave $100, so this year I'll give $100. Even though I got a bonus of $20,000, I'll give an extra 50 to Krishna. Yeah. Or, you know, when I'm feeling ill, I can do so much service. Now my health is improved. Good. I can do the same amount of service and have more free time for myself. We shouldn't think like that. We should think, now I'm feeling more healthy, I have time to do. So we may think, oh, I'm so busy raising my children, which it takes a lot of energy and time. Now my children are graduating, now they're going to college. Okay, now I have more free time for myself. Okay, we can think like that, but what we should think is now I have more free time for Krishna. Just like Prabhupada mentioned, right, in this purport, it shouldn't be, our devotional service should not become slackened. Right? Didn't we read that word slackened? So in the same way as devotees, Prabhupada tells that story many, many times, Punar Musika Bhava, right? The mouse that comes to the holy person says, I have a problem. Can you please help me? Yes, what do you need? Well, there's a cat that's bothering me. Okay, so what do you want? I want, please make me a cat. So by the grace of the holy man, he becomes a cat. Right? Then he comes back a few days later. Again, he needs help. What is it you want? Well, there's one dog. It's bothering me. So what is it you want? Please make me into a dog. So hopefully makes him into a dog. Comes back a few days later. Now what do you want? Well, there's one tiger. And so what do you want? Please make me into a tiger. So it makes him into a tiger. And then the tiger is sitting looking at the holy man, licking his mouth, right? And the holy man says, so what do you want now? I want to eat you. He says, Punar Musikamba. Now again become a mouse. Right? So by the blessings of the holy person, so many more opportunities are there. But if one becomes arrogant, then again we can become a mouse. So it's very important because we see in this age of Kali, it's described in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one of the qualities of the demoniac is arrogance and pride. They become proud and they become arrogant. So if we want to become, if we're trying to become, we are endeavoring to become devotees of Krishna, that means we should be endeavoring also to live according to the qualities of saintly persons. We should be endeavoring to control our mind and our senses, which means we should be becoming humble. And we should be very careful that we don't become proud. And if we become proud, then again we think, well, I don't need to chant, I don't need to hear, I don't need to do service. There's some trash in the floor. Why should I pick that up? I've been a devotee for 5 years. I picked up trash for the first 5 years of my life. Now I come to a higher level. I don't pick up trash. Let's also pick up trash. But if we come to a higher level and we realize that the whole temple belongs to Krishna, I'm his servant, I should run across the room to pick up the trash. If we're lower level, we think, well, by my bodily designation, 1 year, my body's been coming for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. So by that external thing, I don't have to do that service. I don't have to pick up that trash, just as an example. Well, then we haven't understood anything at all. We haven't understood anything at all. So the same thing is true as a community. We see in this age of Kali Yuga, the world is so much burdened, right? Like when Krishna came, when the world was overburdened by demoniac kings. So that seems to be happening a little bit, but it's still today. But also the world's overburdened by demoniac practices in the name of religion. There's so many proud people, this religion, that religion. And I'm sure Chakri meets 1 or 2 of them now and then. So people become very proud that God's on my side, and therefore I can mistreat everyone else. And some people have this sense. I was just looking, I had a book. I was in Italy recently for the communications meeting and visited some famous place, some temple, can't remember where it was. Near the Prabhupada temple. Very famous paintings of this one artist named Giotto, and very beautiful artwork. But one of the things is kind of a traditional painting in some churches. There's God or Jesus, and he's like on one side is the saved people, and on the other side is the people going to hell. And the people going to hell, they have like really elaborate drawings of people being tortured. I mean, there's a little of that in the 5th canto. It's in our own tradition too. And we understand in the 5th canto, if there's some suffering in this world, it's meant to bring you back to Krishna. It's not meant to be some kind of eternal suffering. So I was looking at those paintings and I was thinking about how arrogant one can become. If you're thinking, well, that's me. I'm on that side. I'm not one of those guys. We had a discussion this morning about some other things on this conference call on communications. I remember with some sense of remorse and guilt as a young devotee going to India, brahmachari, we used to get like 10 rupees or something to spend. Remember the Radha Damodar devotees specifically got 10 rupees 1 year, remember? They all stood in line, there was their 10 rupees. And as I recall, there was somebody about 3 steps away saying, don't you want to donate that to Radha Damodar? We want to buy them a new outfit. So you got your 10 rupees and then you turned it in. I was from the Denver temple, so we got maybe a few more rupees and we'd be able to spend it as we like. But I remember seeing some old widows, as we still see, elderly ladies, sometimes men also, sitting outside some temple begging alms. And I remember we young American, on relative standards, materially very wealthy people, walking past these elderly people to go buy a limca with my 10 rupees. Because I've been kind of trained, I'm a devotee. If you give money to others, who knows how they're going to spend it? Maybe they'll misspend it, maybe they'll use it on something not so good. So the 10 rupees for my tongue is okay. To give 10 rupees to them may not be okay. And after I drank that limca, or maybe during it, I remember thinking, is this what it means to be Krishna conscious? That I've been, 2 years ago, I didn't even know who was Krishna. And I was eating abominable things and doing other abominable activities. So now I'm a big Vaishnava. And so I don't have compassion to others because I'm thinking I'm better than they are. So connected back to this painting, you know, we all tend to think I'm on the saved side. And those are the ones that are condemned. And how hard that makes people's hearts. It can make people's hearts very, very hard. So we have to be careful, although our philosophy is there that every living entity is a devotee of Krishna, just forgetful to different degrees. It's still easy for us to I think, to become proud. We're very grateful that we have the mercy of Krishna to understand a little bit more about him and how we can try to serve him. And at the same time, we have to be careful we don't become proud. The very first Vaishnava Christian dialogue in this country I helped organize was held in Boston at a retreat center. We had some big scholars. Frank Clooney, who teaches at Harvard, Professor Larry Shin, who wrote one of the first books about ISKCON, passed away this year. Many other people, Professor Gordon Melton, a lot of devotees were there. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there. Who else was there from the devotees side? I remember Pradita Prabhu was there. It was about 10, 15 people. And the topic was the kingdom of God. And I chose the topic. And I remember thinking this is a really good topic for us because we know a lot about the kingdom of God. And the Christians don't know so much about the kingdom of God. It's just it's not in their books. So it's a good chance for us to kind of not show off, but at least demonstrate the depth of our tradition. So at some point, we're all sitting in a circle, and one person suggested, why don't we each talk about this topic and our own tradition, what it speaks about it, and how it calls to us. So the devotees were going around the room, and I remember some people saying, well, we have this beautiful understanding Krishna is a cowherd, and he's playing with his cowherd boyfriends and cows, and it really inspires me, this beautiful. And it got to actually, I mentioned Professor Larry Shin, and he said, you know, my tradition actually doesn't speak that much about the kingdom of God. We understand it's a wonderful place. We all want to go there, and we should endeavor to try, but we don't have a lot of details. He said, but what I understand from my tradition is that we should try to live out the kingdom of God on earth in the way we take care of one another, in the way we care for the innocent. And he started going on like this. This was in 1996. This was right when ISKCON was learning about our own problem of child abuse. It was when we were just barely beginning to talk about whatever problems of domestic abuse, recognizing the leaders. And just had gone through a period of time, some of our top people, top gurus had fallen. And we were starting to wake up to being a little humbled and realizing that we are also, you know, very small and trying to do the best we can. And I remember when Professor Shin was speaking like this, as I recall, I kind of sank into my chair because I was thinking, how am I? I'm proud. I guess there's some knowledge in my book. That's wonderful. But how am I living it? How's my community living it? And I'm thinking that, you know, I don't know if I was directly thinking this, but probably I was. We're a little better than you because we have this knowledge. But here you're saying that what really matters is, are we living that knowledge? And I don't think we're doing a very good job of that. And that made me realize at that time, boy, have we got a lot to learn. Really made me think like that. You know, I have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn. So in the same way, I think there's a message in this verse that if Vidura wants to know more, if Vidura is thinking, I don't know much about Krishna, please tell me more. If Vidura is anxious to hear, take the humble position of rendering service and hearing, you know, then what's our position? And how much we should be enthusiastic to hear or to learn. And I can remember as a new devotee, I can't give a reference to this, but remember being told, Prabhupada said, if you actually understood our position as aspiring devotees, we'd run from service to service to service. We would think, I am so fortunate to worship deities. I am so fortunate to be able to cook. I'm so for the deities, I'm so fortunate to be able to clean Krishna's temple. I'm so fortunate to be able to welcome guests. This is total mercy. Let me take advantage of it. I don't know how many days I have left. Right? We know Sukadeva Goswami has 7 days. We don't know if we have 7 days. There will come a time when every one of us will not have 7 days left. We don't know when that day is. It's like in America, right? When people die, they have the gravestones, you know, and they put whatever, Joe Smith, you know, August 17th, 1947, November 5th, 1999, right? We all know the opening date, isn't it? Like my date, November 10th, 1954. That's my opening date. I don't know what that other day is, but it comes around every year. So maybe my date is April 10th. That's going to go on my tombstone if I was to have one. That's going to go down in history. Newton was born here. He died here. I don't know what that date is. I have that date comes up every year. I have no idea. This is the day I'm going to die. 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, today, right? I don't know, but that day's coming. And devotees were reminded of that, right? Again, Sukadeva Goswami, he was fortunate. He knew he had 7 days. We don't know how many days we have. So when our mind becomes a little lazy, when our senses feel a little tired, we should try to think. You know, sometimes I find myself, I'm going to lead into kirtan or give any class, but sometimes you feel a little sluggish. And I try to think, wait a minute, this may be the last time I get to lead kirtan. This could be the last time. So do I want the last time I lead kirtan? I'm like, okay, don't have much energy. I'm tired today, Krishna. Don't expect too much out of me. Or do I want to think, no, that this could be my last kirtan? This could be the last offering I ever get to cook for Krishna. I better put my heart into it. This could, and it's true. There will be a last time, and we don't know when it is. Could be today, could be tomorrow, could be 10. We don't know. This could be the last time we get to dress the deities. So when it's time for me, you know, to leave this body, Krishna thinks, well, you know, how dedicated were you? Oh, you're the guy that fell asleep and poked me with a pin. I remember you. But you're the devotee who was so attentive to every single thing you were doing. But how do we want Krishna to remember us? So, and we have an example too. I mean, Chanakya Pandit Prabhu quote that the intelligent person takes good lessons even from a fool. So what to speak of learning from the Shastra? We should be open to learning at every moment, thinking, what does Krishna have to tell me? And then at a very exalted level, we have the example of the 6 Goswamis described in the prayers we sing to them, that, you know, they were praying, where is Krishna? Is he by Govardhan? Is he by the river Jamuna? Where is Krishna? Not that they thought, oh yeah, the deities on the altar. Krishna's in the books. Oh, you know, today I'm going to go book distribution. I said, you know, no, Krishna's in the books. Krishna's in the deity. Krishna's in the instructions. And that we should, how fortunate we are. Therefore, it's described in the Gita, the first principle of knowledge is what? You remember Chakri Prabhu? There's a whole list of the qualities of knowledge. Humility. Yeah, humility is the first principle. First principle of knowledge is humility. So, to the extent that we've actually developed humility, then we know. If we're proud, it means we're ignorant, which is funny because if you're ignorant, how can you be proud? But if you're proud, you're ignorant. But if you're proud, that means you're ignorant. What's there to be proud of? Therefore, you should be humble. So that's one point that we should think about that. Even Vidura was so anxious to hear, what about me? What's my position? Even if somebody appears not to be so qualified to hear from, or maybe they don't appear to be so qualified to engage me in service, I should think, no, I'm a humble servant. Anyone who gives me the opportunity to serve is my friend. They're my guru in one sense because they're engaging in Christian service, and I should take advantage of them. And then second point, just kind of maybe discuss two main things here. That just like there's that chapter in the Krishna book, 10th canto, wonderful Krishna. So in these verses, in these pastimes, Uddhava is describing his own ecstasy, and it's so hard for him to conceive. Krishna is the absolute personality, all powerful, yet he runs in the battlefield. And Krishna is unborn, but yet he appears as Yashoda's son. And Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and yet he manifests all these different leelas in different ways that we can't understand. And as Prabhupada points out in the purport, in his pastimes as a son, or as a friend, we see so different relationships as a father, he uses some interesting terms here. He says, even when he's a rival or an object of enmity, it's all for his enjoyment. Like, wow, what an interesting person. He manifests and allows all these things to go on because it's part of his enjoyment. And it makes sense, most of it. Maybe the object of enmity is a little harder to comprehend from a material parallel. But we see that in this world, some people are trying to enjoy being the role of a son. There's some pleasure there for sure. The role of a father, the role of the wife, the role of the husband, the role of the mentor, all these things. We try to enjoy pleasure from these different relationships, but ultimately they're frustrating. It's just a fact. Ultimately, they're frustrating. Someone may have a very, very seemingly very happy marriage. One of them is going to die. And we know it's a very common phenomenon with older people. When he dies, within a month or two, she dies. Not always. Very often, when she dies, within a month or two, a year or two, he dies. Because their life's never the same. So how sad is that? They invest their entire life in this relationship and then it ends. It's very sad. Or people, they invest their whole life into their business and then it ends. Everything ends here in this world. People, they become very famous for a particular thing or situation, but then it ends. Beautiful woman. She's the most beautiful woman, one of the most top beautiful women in the world. And then a few years later, sometimes after my service, I kind of follow the news and sometimes things pop up. Just see what this famous actress looks like now. Some stupid ad, right? Or actor, right? And it's like, right? They were so young and beautiful or young and handsome, but then you can't even recognize them. Okay, that's the nature of the world. The body's going to get old. No big deal. We're the soul. But if you think you're the body, that's painful. If your whole life rests on this identity of I'm young and I'm strong and everybody loves me for being young and strong, and someday you're not, that's very, I described in the 5th canto, with the ocean. You take shelter in the material world, like jumping into a shallow river, you just smash your face. So we see people trying to enjoy these different relations, but they're frustrated, but it should make us think. The analytical way. People are trying to enjoy being a son. Why? Probably because the example, what's the term? Fake money? What's the term? Not Confederacy popped into my brain. Where they fake money, they print fake money. Counterfeit, thank you. Counterfeit money. Couldn't think of the word. Counterfeit money promises that's the evidence there's real money. Otherwise, what are they copying? That's the proof that there's real money. Somebody gives you a fake $100 bill is the proof there is a $100 bill. So we should think like that. The fact that everybody's running around in this world trying to enjoy loving relationships in different moods is the proof that those relationships actually do bring satisfaction if it's on the spiritual realm. It's not that people are frustrated. They come to this conclusion. I'm trying to enjoy material relationships. They leave frustrated, so I don't want to be a person anymore. Prabhupada explains in at least one, maybe a couple of purports of the Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning of spiritual life, there's an attraction towards impersonalism. A lot of times because we're burnt out. I tried love and I suffered like anything. I tried to serve my country. I suffered like anything. I tried to be opulent. I suffered like anything. So I want everything to merge. No variety, no personality, no relationship. Let it all go away. It's too painful. So that's one type of reaction. But Vaishnavas, we understand, no. There's suffering to these different experiences because we're looking for it in the wrong place. So Prabhupada explains in the Gita, there's a need to understand how great Krishna is. And Krishna explains in the 7th verse, 10th chapter. When we understand how great he is, his opulence, then naturally we surrender to him. So we see again in this world, it's a reflection. When we hear about nice places, when we, you meet somebody my my grandson recently went with his other grandmother on a safari. Exotic place to go. And you hear about it, it's like, wow, that sounds like an interesting place. I'm too busy, but maybe, you know, if I ever find myself in Africa, not a safari, but they went out to like explore, see all the wild animals. It's like you get interested. Where somebody tells you, wow, you really need to go see the new temple in Washington, D.C. It's a beautiful place. And hearing about it, you develop an interest to go there. So if someone says, hopefully, wow, you need to go to the Christian temple. The experience of chanting is really fantastic. Or Chakri tells people, you really should read this book. This is going to open wisdom for you that you've never before experienced. By hearing about it, people's desire comes up. So in the same way, we're advised we should hear about Krishna, as in the Bhagavatam, as in Vidura is trying to hear from Uddhava. We should want to hear more and more, because by hearing about wonderful Krishna, by hearing about the wonderful places, the abode of the Lord, we'll actually develop one, faith that they exist. Two, will gradually, by the process of purification, will gradually experience them. And three, will develop some determination to get there, which is what we need to do in this human form of life. So Bhagavatam is so important. Distributing the Bhagavatam is so important. Giving people the opportunity to come and see how we're living the Bhagavatam is so important. So we're very, very blessed, as was Vidura, that he had the opportunity to associate with Uddhava. So any questions or comments you'd like to make? Yes, Martin.
If you get a mic.
Just one point to make.
Microphone is coming.
Krishna.
So that Vena Madhurya, Ashok, Rachna, and Vena Bara. I'm sorry, some of you may have other names. So they can hear you ask you.
Only a recent point.
Is it on? I don't think it's on.
It's not on. I think.
It's not on yet. Just now coming. Hare Krishna. I can repeat if you say I'll repeat it.
Okay. This point that stuck with me, how the Christians were saying that they're trying to live their philosophy on earth and the kingdom of God.
Yeah, so this one professor was saying how, as a Christian, a follower of Jesus, he was trying to make sure to live those principles on earth.
There's something I struggle with. It's that, idea that I was taught in the ashram, from experience, and also in the brahmacharya ashram. It's always said that,
I think I can just repeat what she says.
You are.
Hare Krishna. I'll just repeat what you say. So you said, I struggle sometimes because I remember learning as a brahmachari living in the ashram. Yeah.
that you shouldn't be engaged in this world, or it's not right.
That we should not engage in this world.
I think that you should feel love for your family.
You shouldn't feel love for your family.
Yeah, or you shouldn't like
You heard these things in the ashram.
Yeah, well, you're trying to enjoy certain rest with,
Yeah, well, I heard that, spend the 10 rupees on your limca, your lassi, but don't give it to the, people that are living on the edge of survival, sitting in front of a temple where 24 hours, 10 hours a day, they're hearing the Lord's name being glorified in the temple. Yeah. So therefore, your question is,
their question was like, if we should try to enjoy relationships with other devotees, or like family relationships, a son and mother, or husband and wife relationships, then because we think that ultimately we're gonna die and it's illusion, that relationship is false or illusion.
yeah, so by the Vaishnava philosophy, okay, so your question is, wait, let me repeat. So then it seems that, we shouldn't enjoy, I'll just repeat as I heard, relationships with even with our family members or devotees, because ultimately we're all going to die.
Maya.
It's all Maya.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what's called impersonalism.
Exactly, that.
It's impersonalism. By my spiritual knowledge, I don't believe there's any personalities. There's no people, there's no feelings, there's no sentiment, there's no other real. You're illusion, he's illusion, he's illusion. What do I care about any of you? We can come to that conclusion, which is funny because, say, Buddhists who ultimately believe there's nothing, but their ethic, at least many of them will say, is compassion, which is funny because if it's all illusion, why are you being compassionate? You know, we say, well, it's temporary, therefore it's illusion, but therefore we should be compassionate because they're eternal. I'll tell you a story I just heard a couple of days ago at the Vyas Puja celebration in Philadelphia. Prabhupada was riding with some devotees. We were told that Hari Suri told the story. I'm going to go back and check it again. But the Prabhupada was riding on a train. I told last night, Prabhupada was on a train with devotees, and there was a young, described very pretty woman with her husband who had paralyzed or some severe physical disability. And she was feeding him and taking care of him and everything. And Prabhupada commented to devotees that this is Krishna consciousness. And they asked, they said, but Prabhupada, she doesn't have Kunti Mala, she doesn't have Japavi, she's not chanting. How is this be Krishna conscious? Prabhupada said, because she has the capacity for sense gratification, because she's young, she's pretty, but she's staying with her husband out of her duty to serve her husband and to take care of others, her husband. And Prabhupada says, this is an instruction of Krishna. So even though she doesn't know it, still, because she's following Krishna's instructions, she's Krishna conscious, which is just a broad concept. Second thing, recently I was in New Vrindavan. It was last year. I remember Gopal Hari Prabhu was giving the verse, was giving the class, and it was in the discussion about, I believe, Swayambhuva Manu, right, who traveled around the world to find a suitable husband for his daughter, right? Who was it that, who was his, it was Karna Mamuni, right? And Devahuti, yeah. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, I just like stop and say, can you repeat that? Prabhupada says in the purport, he was traveling around the world trying to find a suitable husband for his daughter because he loved her very much as a father should. And I was like jolted, like, whoa, that's what Prabhupada said? That's not what they taught me in the Brahmacharya ashram. That's not what they taught you in the Brahmacharya ashram. So that's where we have to make sure there's balance. Prabhupada is a acharya. He's guru. He's trying to wake us up from our materialistic attachments. And many of us, we came from a world that's all about material attachments, whatever it's husband, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, family, this, that, the dog, the cat, the house, the car. So the philosophy is there to shake us up from that materialistic attachment, thinking that we're the center, thinking that these relationships are going to last forever. So there's, guru means heavy. There's heavy duty teachings about illusion. For hostile life, it's a deep, dark well, right? And Prabhupada says you should love your daughter the way a father should. Now, how do you balance that? Well, there's a little more of a discussion, but it shouldn't be some kind of fanatical renunciation. What are we renouncing? We should renounce that I'm the enjoyer. We should accept that I'm the servant. So instead of the father that loves the daughter until she rebels, and then he gets in a big fight with her, he yells at her, screams at her, cusses on his will, that's not love. He didn't really love her. He loved the person who's fulfilling his desires the way he wants. But the minute she crosses him, he cuts her off. That kind of affection, so-called affection, is not there. But the father who cares for the child through thick and thin, Krishna is the Supreme Father. He's in our heart. I mean, I've done a lot of things that Krishna knows that I'm really embarrassed about. Even today, I have a lot of thoughts. And sometimes I think, I am so glad. I hope nobody knows how to read minds. Because if they do, I'm going to be revealed as a really vile, fallen, sinful creature. But Krishna knows everything. Yeah. And he's still there. He hasn't left me. For me, that's like one of the most convincing things about our whole philosophy that, Krishna hasn't left us. It proves to me how compassionate and loving he is. I know what a rascal I am, but he doesn't give up on me. So that type of compassion as Prabhupada was appreciating this young woman with her husband. Prabhupada explains, the Shastra Acharya explains, The closest thing to pure spiritual love in this world is a mother caring for the child. So it's not that we just think, oh, it's all Maya. We think this is close to, pure Christian consciousness. We can learn from that. We see everything as an opportunity for us to learn and to appreciate. So the danger is, let's say, example of getting married, okay? If one gets married and thinks, okay, now this is my wife, my house, my bank balance, my relationship. I was a temple president for a few years and helped get a few couples get married. And there's my experience is there was this phenomenon. It's like they come together, they meet each other and they like each other and they get married. And then they go for this like honeymoon illusionary period of like, you are all there is in the world. You are everything I needed. You're the perfect man. You're the perfect wife. Nobody understands me the way you do. And like after a certain period of time, it's like, that didn't work. She still needs more friends. Dear men out there, I learned, ladies need a lot of social relationships more than men do. So if the man's thinking she's my servant and, her other relationships are going to diminish now. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I don't know the quote, but this very beautiful quote. And he says that the man that thinks now the woman becomes my servant, or the woman that thinks now the man becomes my servant, that's not Vaishnava philosophy. You get married to serve your spouse, whether you're the wife or the husband, you get married to serve the spouse. We're servants. So whatever relationships we have, if we have a child, we should try to think my duty is to serve them, which means you got to take care of their body, you got to take care of their mind, you got to take care of their intellect, you got to take care of their soul. If you think, well, I'm taking care of their soul, but it's not my job to provide clothes for my kids, Maya. If you're thinking my job is to provide clothes and a job and a good education for my kids, but not help care of their soul, Maya. Right? It all fits in. It says bhakti is beautiful. We're all about renouncing this world, but then we have beautiful flowers and garlands, and somebody gave me a garland, and we offer the garlands first to Krishna, of course, and we make beautiful food. And just listen to the lecture of the day, Prabhupada was saying, what fool is it that doesn't understand the beauty of art? We have art, we have music, we have so many nice things. What fool will not take advantage of these? So same way, I remember, Prabhupada would sometimes talk about, you want a nice wife, come to Christian consciousness. So many nice girls. He was preaching to some of the men like that. So these things we accept these relationships as part of our relationship with Krishna. If I love Krishna, how can I love the other devotees? How is it possible? Sometimes you hear devotees say, we love the cows, but we don't care about the dogs. Well, the cows are special because they're such an important part of our culture and Krishna's favorite animal. But it means we don't care about the dogs, we don't care about the cats, we don't care about the horses, we don't care about the whales. I care about everybody. You're a brahmachari, you only care about the brahmacharis, you don't care about the grastas. You're grahasta, but you only care about your house, you don't care about the temple. It's all, yeah. Isn't it? So so be careful, it's a fine line. We don't become, we know we have a tendency to fall into thinking on the body. We know we still have a tendency to think I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller. Again, it's my wife, my house, my kids, my money, my car. So we have to be careful that we don't become overwhelmed with affection for things because they're mine to enjoy. But it doesn't mean we don't have affection for things because we understand the Christian gifts. Isn't it? We take care of one another. We were talking about that last night. Well, where would we be without the devotees? You put me on a desert island, with no Vaishnavas, I'm finished. I'm not going to sit there and chant maybe I will. I hope I never get tested. But I don't want that test. I want to come to St. Louis and have kirtan with Chakri and eat the prasad that's been offered to the deities and be with all the devotees. And that's my lifeline. So those relationships are very important, but we should be in those relationships in mode of service. And I think that, speaking like from the Grasta, if you're a brahmachari, talk about that one first, you better learn you're a servant real fast. Because when those guys kick in the head, when they're getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're too lazy, you're going to sleep until 4:10 or 4:27, and somehow get a shower, get there. You realize real quick, I'm not the enjoyer of this ashram, I'm just a servant, I'm part of the team. And one sometimes thinks, well, I'm gonna get married and now it's my wife, my kids, the first time the kids say no, you realize, oh, am I the enjoyer? Am I the controller? Am I the supreme lord? Am I the servant? Am I gonna respond to them in a way that's gonna help them become more solid people and, realize that they're loved even when they're obnoxious? But I'm gonna try to set a nice example for them. I mean, that's the mood of service. Is that okay? It's a great question.
A great answer.
We have a great guru and a great God and a great philosophy and a great challenge in front of us. And a great opportunity to set examples for others. It's wonderful. It's exciting. Every day. Every day is a new challenge. Wow, Christian, what are you going to teach me today? What challenges are going to come in front of me today? What obstacles are going to come in front of me today? Yeah, it's exciting. What failures am I going to learn from today? He's very kind. Yes, bro.
You may, long time back, you had a course in Jew. I was a communications course.
Yes.
I was very fortunate.
I'm still trying to practice what I preach.
So, any course coming up is introduced in future because devotees need a lot of interactive capabilities to increase. As you mentioned, she was saying brahmachari, no here, don't go there. So these things are very narrow minded. So when I attended your course, it was so nice. So Christian function doesn't mean only one side. It's a variegated unity, diversity, unity. So I was wondering if it was coming up in future here. Because devotees always need some rejuvenation every 10 years, 5 years.
That's true. Well, one answer is yes. Every morning at 7:30, there's a course. We have to discuss it, take advantage, because everything's here. It's like I quoted that, one verse the prophet said, Kardama Muni loved his daughter as a father should. So those things are there in the Bhagavatam. And to read about how, Uddhava, he's so struck just to remembering Krishna exists in ecstasy, but he's bewildered, but he's ecstatic, and he's trying to understand these contradictions. So much information is there. And yeah, we should talk about maybe, there's this, there's too much bad. Where's their mic still some? Too much. Yeah. Too many mics. Yeah, but I mean, Braj Vihar's the teacher of the course on there's so many Shastri courses which are wonderful. And there's a lot of courses on, like you just said, practical things in Krishna consciousness. So maybe sometime you bring a bunch of people where you can. I taught the communications course here one time, I think, right? And here too, I taught, it was a condensed seminar. We can do something sometime. Get the new building fixed up.
Right, that's the place for
I'll come, that's the place. And others can come too, but I'd be happy to do that. I love it.
And others can come too, right? That's
Yeah.
fun. You can host big events and classes and courses like that.
And you mentioned about Hindu temple and all. So, Hare Krishna. You mentioned in the earlier part of the lecture Hindu temple and all. So I was wondering, ISKCON should have good relation with these type of temples, or just we have to focus on the our, like actual programs, Bhagavad classes, something like some Vaishnava etiquette classes, something like if we have people coming there also can attract you to the philosophy.
Too loud again. Yeah. So you should just serve yourself prasadam, or you should give prasadam to others? Like you said, should we just concern with our temple, or should we have relationship with others? Our primary concern should be, just like Prabhupada says, your first duty is to save yourself. So it's not that we do so many sacrifices for others that we forget to, chant or take prasadam or keep ourselves healthy or, do all the things we need through bhakti to maintain our own health. So we should take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our own community, our own family, our own friends, our own temple, our own zone, our own country, our own Vaishnava Sangha. And at the same time, there's scope in life. We can have relationships and take care of others. So like with other Hindu temples, at least some devotees have to maintain nice friendly relationship. Of course, you know, we have so many things in common. Same thing, we should maintain relationships with businesses on the same street. We have some things in common. We should maintain some relationship with our neighbors. I mean, we have limited time, but at least, you know, you can smile at your neighbor every morning, and you know, you never know, that neighbor may be the person that's going to come to your aid when they complain about how you were making so much noise, and then bring the police and they arrest you. The neighbor comes, no, these are good people. I mean, I'm just making it all up.
Yeah.
But you know, it's important. I mean, in communications, it's all about relationship. That's the whole focus of the communication service. And we give this example of this term key audiences, which you may remember. Who are those people that can help us in spiritual life or hurt us in spiritual life? And those people especially, we need to make sure we have a good relationship with. You know, scholars, the media, the government, larger Hindu community, religious leaders. Those people particularly, they can really help our mission in Krishna consciousness. And simultaneously, they could possibly hurt us if we don't maintain good relationship. How to do that, that's a long discussion. But yes, relationship.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thanks.
Yes.
So,
There's a question over here?
So, Prabhu might have something.
You can use my group.
Thank you, that's.
Pressure's on, you need a good question, bro.
Okay, what is the purpose of human existence? Just kidding.
Start from the beginning.
Yes, thank you so much for the class, Prof. J, thank you. So how do we start communicating better between one another?
Very fun.
Yeah, thank you. You're adding on to the discussion.
In the post.
Well, the main thing, I know myself, sometimes I just share my experience. It happens to me all the time. I remember as a relatively new devotee in Denver, where I joined the temple there. Small temple, everybody kind of knows everybody, knows your role, knows your service. And I remember going to like Rath Yatra in LA. Maybe we can turn that off, the feedback again. Okay, good. Going to Los Angeles Rath Yatra, and there were so many devotees, like hundreds, big devotees, people like, you know, and I can remember like being bewildered, like, where do I fit in here? Do I count? What's my role? And a little bit in my mind, I think, what's my status? You know, who am I senior to? Who am I junior to? And then I just understood, no, I'm a servant. I don't even want to say understood it, just like remember, I'm a servant. Just be a servant. Why be confused? And I still find myself in situations these days. It's like, well, I'm not quite sure what I fit in. What can I do? It's like, well, it's easy. Just be a servant. Somebody needs help with somebody, do that. Some service needs to be done, do that. Somebody needs to analyze my roles, you know, some documents. Okay, I can help do that if I can. Don't think about, well, are the senior devotees doing that or the junior devotees doing that? This, you know, am I part of that class or this class? I want to be seen with this group like in high school, right? I want to be with the cool kids, but not those other kids. And that shouldn't exist in Christian consciousness, wherever there's service. And there's so many examples of Prabhupada that one that pops in my mind is the well-known story. Prabhupada, maybe it was even here, in an airport, and devotees were having kirtan, and they were taking up all the seating areas, sitting with Prabhupada. And one of the airport people came and said, everybody has to leave. This gate. This is for people on this flight to New York or whatever. And you're all taking up all the seats. That's before they had high-tech security and anybody could go anywhere in the airport. So Rupanuga Prabhu, I think it was Rupanuga, got up in the chair and said, all the devotees have to leave the seating area now. They were all like, oh no, but Prabhupada's here. We don't want to leave. This isn't right. So only one devotee stood up to leave. You know who it was? Prabhupada. You say, well, you just said all the devotees have to leave, so I'm trying to be, you know, a devotee. I got to leave. Where am I supposed to go? And they're like, no, not you, Prabhupada, not you. Others, you have to go. But that was his mood. So, you know, he's our teacher. He's our founder, Acharya. So how do we also, and it takes practice, because our false ego, I mean, I don't mind, it's strong. I'm always looking around who's doing what, who's getting credit for what. It's a great, again, learn from so many sources. I believe it's President Harry Truman said, US President said, there's no limit to what you can get done if you don't care who gets the credit.
Yeah, I love.
You know, in materialistic mentality, we spend a lot of time who's going to get the credit. You know, so like maybe there's two pujaris dressed in deities. One pujari is spending all the time going and getting flowers for the other one, and this and that. And then when the curtain opened, the deities look beautiful, and everybody says to the other pujari, "Oh, you did such a nice job." But the more reason maybe he did a nice job is because you brought all the flowers, right? So you care about how the deity looks, or you care about who gets the credit? If you care about who gets the credit, you can be like, go get your own flowers, right?
Yes.
I'm not going to get you flowers. I got to dress my set of deities because I want them to look nice. Because I want maybe a little bit. I want devotees to appreciate what I did. If you don't care who gets the credit, curtains open, people are like, wow, deities are gorgeous. Nobody thanks you. You know, Krishna knows who brought those flowers. So
Thank you.
we all have some work to do, but it's exciting. It's like it describes here, one Krishna is so wonderful. So wonderful. Like Prabhupada said, it just makes this sentence. It's all something like it just says it's all for enjoyment. Very short. Don't see it right now. I'm not finding it right now. It says it's all for enjoyment. Krishna is so amazing. So I guess we should stop. We're supposed to go to Carbondale, and it's a 2-hour drive or 2.5-hour drive or something. So Carbondale, and then tonight there's a home program.
Yeah.
So who's everyone invited?
Dr. Sukumar, everybody is invited.
Everybody's invited.
We have been sending the email, WhatsApp, and everybody is invited.
Please come.
Please come.
Another transcendental party. Prabhupada said if you get paraphrased, he said, I can give you a holiday every day of the year. And there's so many holidays, so many festivals, so many reasons to come together. And in the spiritual, it's just a big party. They just have a party every day. Cowherd boys, they just run out like one more exciting day. At least when they manifest here, it's like, hey, what demon are we going to run to today? Agasurishals are like, wow, that's a new one. That's pretty exciting. Let's walk into his mouth and see what happens. Krishna will take care of us. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal. That's, sometimes people say, well, that's your concept of the absolute truth. Yeah, isn't it exciting? You can go there too. In fact, that's where you came from. That's where you're meant to be. And you have a role to play. One more beautiful vision of ultimate reality. So we'll stop. Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Nice question.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, we have to take care of each other. You can't love Krishna if you don't love the devotees. You don't appreciate the devotees, you don't love the devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Perfect to be communication. Over the great voice. It was so spirited. It was all love. Over the great voice. Keep it up.
Okay, thank
God
you.
bless us.
Need that inspiration. Thank you.
Communication means communication.
हाँ बोल देंगे मैं दे रहा हूँ डोंट फॉरगेट
I need that.
so again you will need there
I miss right.
मैं इधर रख रहा हूँ देखो याद रखो इधर ये चेयर पे इधर
So, yeah.
Yeah. We have to find powers. I can't. Yeah.
Okay.